This podcast is produced by Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. The Collective Us, an NMCAA podcast, focuses on inspiring you through stories of those we've helped through our programming or by linking local resources to community members in need. Join us as we learn about the programs offered through NMCAA and how we touch people's lives every day. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Collective Us, an NMCAA podcast. We're so happy you're here. I'm Erica Austin, and this is Ryan Buck, who I'm happy to announce will be sticking around for a while as my co-host. We're so happy you're here.
I am happy to be here a little while longer. Thank you so much. Beautiful day, beautiful topic.
That's right. So today we're talking with NMCAA's Financial Management Services Department, and the topic is NeighborWorks Week. And our guests today are Karen Emerson, manager of the Financial Management Services Department, and Allison Popa. Did I get that right? Yes.
Well done. That was great.
HUD certified budget and housing coach with NMCAA. Thank you both for being here today.
Karen, financial management services seems to be a pretty broad term. Can you give a brief overview of what types of programs, what kind of services you offer through the department?
Sure. I'll be glad to. We actually do many things within Financial Management Services Department, and that's why we've kind of coined internally the Homeownership and Financial Empowerment Center, because we want to be that one-stop shop for everybody in the community, because it doesn't matter if you're experiencing poverty or you're just recently graduated college and are trying to figure out what your next step in life, to a senior or a married couple or a newly divorced person trying to navigate home ownership or their money management. So we actually provide home ownership and money management workshops. We have housing counseling, money management counseling. We provide foreclosure prevention counseling, rental counseling. We provide tax preparation, and we also have numerous other programs, including emergency utility assistance at times of the year. That's seasonal, as well as the tax program. And in addition, we have family self-sufficiency programming, but we do a ton of things.
Right. And it's so topical amongst a lot of what NMCAA does. So it feels like you're relevant all the time, and there's so much you offer. What's the best way to see all that?
As far as, I guess, to see all that is to go to the website. That's a great place to start looking. Right. My team's been very integral in helping put all our programming out on the website. We also are very active in Facebook and Twitter. We want to make sure that people know that there's opportunities for empowerment and helping people achieve self-sufficiency. And we want to make sure that people know that there's no wrong door approach. So people could call our agency number at 231-947-3780. They could inquire through email at fmsintake@nmcaa.net, or even just reach out to us on Facebook and say, hey, will you PM me? I want to know more about this program.
That's the consistency, the personal touch with NMCAA.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. So, Karen, you were talking about self-sufficiency. So NeighborWorks helps create opportunities for people to live in affordable homes, improve their lives, and strengthen their communities. So tell us a little bit more about NeighborWorks America, and what does it mean to be a chartered member as NMCAA?
Well, we're just so excited to be one of the chartered members. It's one of the many hats we wear, but we became a chartered member organization of NeighborWorks in 2012. My team worked a whole lot with the application, and we were eligible for this achievement. We are actually one of 250 other organizations throughout the country. It helps bring that, we're all grassroots, and you've heard this a number of times, to actually fill the gaps, especially when it comes to housing development, housing, first-time home buying, and money management and foreclosure prevention. We're able to tick off those boxes, so to speak, in the community development realm, where we can bring in additional leveraged dollars into our communities. And we serve 10 counties, so that's really important. So we work locally with many other nonprofits and we actually bring a bigger bang to the buck, so to speak. So just overall through Michigan last year, we were able to leverage for every $28, we were able to match one of NeighborWorks. So that's how great it is, and it's a really good thing. So there's so many people there with like missions. So that's what's pretty darn awesome. Like I said, we also, just even a small tidbit, and Allison's one that's joined it, is being able to attend NeighborWorks Training Institute. We are required to have our team members attend 40 hours of continuing education every year. Our coaches are also HUD certified, which NeighborWorks is an awesome spot to be able to send people to learn more and more how to take the test, how to understand what you're taking, and stay up on the current policies, procedures, and what's new in the industry.
There's so much. It's incredible. There's so much involved in this. And Karen, you've talked about people a lot, and that's, I think, something so inspiring about the stories already with NMCAA. So Allison, your job, 10 counties. This is a lot of people. Your job is to work hands-on with the client and assisting them through the program, all these steps. What does it look like when a client contacts you?
Well, they start in our intake process, and I really always like to say that every customer is like a snowflake. They're all different with their own situations, and you get this small snapshot of where they are in their life. So taking that kind of empathy first mentality and running with it, we get people in who, after an appointment, they're like, so you're not going to tell me what to do with my budget? Like kind of a defensive way. And it's like, no, our job is to provide the resources and education that are available to you. We want to make sure you know your rights. You're not a victim of a scam, identity theft. We want to go through your budget with you and have that organic conversation like, oh, you're spending this much on your cell phone bill. Have you heard of the Affordable Connectivity Program? And just kind of like cherry pick those ways that they can save in their spending every month. It's really focused on the housing status and the expenses that surround it. So if someone comes to us with a financial barrier, we look at two things that you can do right away. You can either increase income or decrease expenses. And our job is to just help the customers see all of their options that are out there for them.
So you're really just giving them the tools to help them better themselves and move forward with, you're empowering them to be able to be financially stable.
Absolutely. And, I really come from like living through some questionable financial decisions. And then
it's relatable, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And recovering from it. And so I really like to create that kind of just natural conversation and see where it goes with every customer.
Yeah.
And just make them comfortable. They can share what they want to share in that time. They can save some for the next appointment. But really, it starts with building trust and going from there.
Awesome. Going back to FMS, we've talked before about acronyms. So Financial Management Services, FMS. So are all people eligible for your programs?
Yes. Any service that does not include financial assistance or resources, anybody can come to us. If there is some sort of financial assistance tied to it, each program comes with its own income limits.
Awesome. And so how can they get in touch with you again? I think Karen mentioned it, but
It starts with our intake. No wrong door. You can call, text, email.
231-947-3780 or fmsintake@nmcaa.net.
See, this is what you have to deal with. You have to keep a lot of things straight in your minds and in your heads.
Yeah.
And that leads me to a question that I'm specifically fascinated about, is that I imagine you encounter people in various levels of need. You could have somebody who's in a challenging, even emotional state on the phone. How do you approach that? What's most challenging about that and organizing that and taking care of those clients?
You absolutely have to keep kind of the structure going in order to give everyone equal opportunity, equal access to our services. We have to kind of keep it time limited, but I always like to give everyone the opportunity to share their story. And then, everybody can get kind of stressed out or they get consumed by their situation, by their barrier.
You say it because
Yes.
you hear this probably in their voices. You see this on their faces.
Yes, and our foreclosure services are absolutely the most heartbreaking one that we offer. And it's so necessary, though, because there's so many scams tied to foreclosure. There's so many employees working for a servicer, for a lender, who kind of just work there, and sometimes they're not providing the right information. And so having a HUD certified housing coach on your side who is just making sure you're trying everything, you're going through all of your options, and just being able to take some of the stress off of their plate, some of the weight off their shoulders, and help them see that this is not the end for you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Before we move on, I also want to point out, we just said acronyms. HUD, can you tell me what that means? Because I don't think I know what that one is.
HUD stands for Housing and Urban Development.
Perfect.
This cleared up something before we rolled as well, because it's HUD. I'd been saying HUD. I said HUD for a period of time when I was trying to be fancy. So honestly, thank you.
Yeah.
Housing and Urban Development.
Yep, and it is the program run by the federal government that administers housing assistance throughout the country.
Awesome.
I'm glad for that, because I feel like that's a term that gets thrown out a lot, either locally or nationally, and it's good for people to know what that means.
I mean, it's housing, so obviously they have a lot of branches as well.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about, people come in, they're consumed by their situation. So I'm assuming that people come in, they're kind of at this low level, feeling just kind of down in the dumps about their financial situation. But I assume there are also some fantastic success stories. So, Allison, I know you came with a prepared outstanding client story. Can you share that with us now?
Yeah, the customer I want to talk about today is Shannon Rossman. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
She has been in the financial management services fold since about November 2021. And she has a 9-year-old daughter, and she is in our individual development account, IDA savings program.
Her daughter is.
No, Shannon is.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I totally interrupted there. There's also something for children.
Shannon's daughter actually was a beneficiary of our children's savings account, which I think that is probably what you were referring to.
Okay.
That is awesome.
Sorry, I totally
That is tremendous.
Yes. And so, being in our services already, we were able to just kind of seamlessly connect her daughter to that program when it came through as well. Our individual development IDA accounts are meant to help you develop a savings habit over a 6-month time period. At least 6 months. So she's been in that service with us, and she is saving for her first home. One of the things that, in speaking with her last week, we discovered that in our services, she has been able to raise her credit score 135 points.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, and she lives in Antrim County right now. She works for Munson Behavioral Health. She is a recovery coach, actually. She herself is 4.5 years sober. So she's just such a great example on just the light on the other side when you are in a crisis. She's trying to buy a house in 2024. She's just doing the work to reach her housing goals, and it's fantastic. I'm so proud of her.
This is something that you can tell. I know some days you got to be behind the computer and you got to submit reports to somebody, but a story like that maybe makes that day in the office a little better.
Oh, yeah.
In general?
Absolutely. Homebuyer education is kind of like the starting point. This is where people can kind of discover these programs. And my new favorite thing about homebuyer education is to relate it to home inspections when you are going through that home buying journey. Homebuyer education, home inspections, neither of them are required. But the thing they really have in common is they are there to protect the home buyer. Getting these things done gets you the education, gets you the knowledge to be able to see what kind of deal you're getting yourself into.
Right. Karen, before we started today, you mentioned you have been doing this for a long time. And I know you have people who probably report to you. You have a team. What keeps you inspired about leadership? What's the culture of service that you like to establish amongst your team?
Each day I'm inspired by helping people by changing their lives. I know it sounds probably kind of kitschy, but I have a team that's really dedicated to empowering and helping people. Each of us have a little spiritual background that probably is our personal beliefs, which is probably helps in every day. But overall, like you said, I started 23 years ago at the agency and started the foundation of the housing coaching. And the need was so great that it's grown. We've been able to add abundance of programming throughout the time, different seasonal grants and different temporary grants with the potential of maybe this is a pilot and we can, look to see what we could possibly do in the future with that. But the foundation basically of everything we do is budget coaching. And as Allison has explained, coaching is the main part of our job, is to help people one person at a time. For me, as a manager now, I'm inspired by being able to help my staff. In addition to the customers, I encourage each of my managers to participate in programs, to meet people where they're at, because it's just so important to keep that as part of our job. I do a lot of grant writing, policy making, procedures, fund development, creating new partners, but I do meet with the customers. I'm there with the customers. I talk with the customers daily. We're here helping our neighbors, and it's really, you can see that within the team of how important that is day to day.
Wow. I think it's time to definitely get some plugs going, because there's some things happening that you offer. And again, it continues to come up. The actual experience of connecting with any department in NMCAA is a personalized, unique, and human experience. And that's come through, I think, in just a few episodes of this show. But I know with your success stories and your guests who talk to you. So you have various financial management workshops coming up. What do you want to plug? What can individuals become involved with and see and learn from?
Well, first and foremost, June is homeownership month, and HUD's dubbed that. And we already figured out what HUD is, right? And
I'm glad we got to it now.
But then, I think another major partner of ours is MSHDA. So we should talk about MSHDA, Michigan State Housing Development Authority. They're also a very important part of what we do.
They're like the HUD of Michigan.
Yeah, the HUD of Michigan. But they help us with bringing additional funding in state and federal funds to our 10 counties. But with June being homeownership month, we are offering free education. We are really excited about being able to offer home buyer ed free. Often we have scholarship opportunities for people that are at certain income guidelines. And then we do have a fee for service component because we feel that this is very important for the public in general. But right now, for the month of June, homeownership is free. That's either virtual or in person. So that's awesome. We have returned in person, and I'm going to promote Allison's class on June 1st. We are real excited to kick off the whole month with a workshop from 9 to 3 at 3963 3 Mile Road, which is our main office there. And we're going to offer the home buyer education for free. We're going to have panelists. So some of our major donors like Huntington Bank will be present. One of our partners, Habitat for Humanity, we provide home buyer ed for them.
And that's the benefit of some of those collaborations you've been talking about.
Exactly.
Your guest benefit.
And then we also have Real Estate One being present. Our partner from MSHDA maybe will be there to be able to be excited about that day. We're going to have also
lunch.
Yes, lunch.
Most importantly, you buried the lead.
And food, yeah, and fun and fabulous prizes, and then we're also going to be doing it virtual. So Allison's only one of our coaches. We have 3 others right now, and they all divide and conquer and serve our 10 counties. So we're really excited to be able to have one of our coaches online, virtually, while Allison's providing the class in person. Then, so that's June 1st. And it's coming really soon, right? 2 days. June 6th, we're going to be launching a in-person homebuyer ed in Cadillac. So this will be their first time that they're back in after COVID. So we're really excited about that opportunity. That workshop's free too. And there should be fabulous prizes and food
Hopefully
for that too.
Hopefully there's a theme that listeners can pick up here.
Yeah. Free. We'll also be offering money management June 6th, which is going to be on Zoom. June 8th, we will have a special session with our NeighborWorks, because that's through NeighborWorks Week, which will include a laundry project. We didn't even talk about that earlier, but we do help with, we actually administer the laundry project, which is a community project that's been in the area for probably 20 years now. And that will be held at Eastfield Laundry on 8th Street. And we're excited because our Department of Health and Human Services partner,
DHHS.
That's right, we'll be there.
I knew that one.
We'll be there to be able to present programs that they offer, as well as our own marketing specialist will be there to talk more about some of the programs we've talked about today, and actually meet people doing their laundry that we provide for free at that time, and actually tell them more about the services we do. And then another group of us is going to be at Aspire North's Ballpark and Brews that same day, because we're just going to hit it out of the park, at Turtle Creek. Then what we'll end up doing that particular day, we'll meet some of our potential vendors and sponsors and possibly people that will actually come into our workshops, just like the panelists are on Thursday. And then to wrap up the week, we're going to wrap up with our final NeighborWorks, our homebuyer education on June 10th, which is a Saturday. That'll be in Zoom. So that basically, the NeighborWorks week actually goes from the 3rd through the 10th. But we were so anxious and excited to celebrate, we started on the 1st.
Nothing wrong with overachieving. And this is something that happens every year, so individuals, families can mark their calendars.
Right.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't have to be ready, pre-approved, found a house. You don't have to be that far in the process to take homebuyer. You can just, if you're curious if home ownership is right for you, come and take our class. It will open your eyes to everything out there. There is more than one way to buy a house. I don't know what that other term is. More than one way to
Skin a cat.
eat a banana.
I should have said that.
We take that out.
That's the traditional way. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's great to know, though, that you don't have to be like in the process of already buying a home.
Right,
You can-
even if you're just curious.
Yeah.
What does it look
that's
like?
great.
It really is such an important step in the home buying process.
Yeah.
Because that's when they want to catch the individual development account and see if they qualify. They could start saving, working on the credit like you talked about earlier. Because we're going to match what they save up to $1,000, 3-to-1. So they'll get $3,000 through that match savings program, which we really work with all our habitats to try to enroll people as soon as they qualify for a habitat partnership, that they can come to us, attend all our workshops, homebuyer ed, money management, and then get an IDA journey and be able to walk through that journey with us, because we know it does take like wraparound. It takes more than just one agency assisting people that are experiencing a lot of barriers. But we're just really excited about the whole month. Well, you can tell.
Yeah, and when you come to us for pre-purchase counseling, that individual service, it really gives you that deeper dive into your personal situation. We do a soft pull on your credit report with you. We look at the debt to income ratios that lenders are going to look at. We do pre-qualifications to see what you may be qualified for. And we just have the tools to really help you get prepared when you jump into this process.
You're well taken care of.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just what I feel. I
Yeah.
feel very well taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to do a quick recap on like the workshops and everything. So first of all, NeighborWorks Week is a nationwide program offered through various nonprofit organizations. So even if you're outside of Northwest Michigan, you can find a NeighborWorks member who's committed to ensuring housing security, community stability, and equality and consumer financial health. So NeighborWorks Week is June 3rd through the 10th, and the theme this year is Empowering Communities for Success. We already talked about how we're doing all these workshops and things for NeighborWorks Week, but can you tell us how to register for those events?
Sure. The best way, I think, is to email at fmsintake@nmcaa.net.
Okay.
Or call 231-947-3780 and ask for FMS Intake or Emily Merrick. She'll be glad to help you. But in addition, we do have a portal So if they go on Facebook, they likely will find a link that they can go directly to our portal from Facebook or even from our website. So we really try to eliminate any uncertainty and try to meet people where they're at. Because you may want to call us at 3 o'clock in the morning and we won't be there. So why not register as soon as you can and let us know? And like I said, even personal messages on Facebook, we monitor that. We'll be glad to reach out and help. The other thing is I thought about how people might want to, they might be all excited about this like we are, and they might want to say, how can I learn more and get the energy and enthusiasm that Allison and Karen have out of this program? We do look for volunteers. We have a current volunteer that's actually helping us with Salesforce, which is pretty awesome. We've had interns in the past from several schools. We welcome your call and ask for Karen Emerson, and I'll be glad to get an application out to you and get that going. But we also have an application on our links, so there's also a no wrong door there. Also, some people may say, hey, I want to be part of that. They're creating home buyers. I have services that these home buyers could use. We really do look for sponsors, and we welcome that because we figure that's a way to really get our word out. We monitor every week where our calls are coming from. The highest form is still by word of mouth in northern Michigan. We're a rural area, though we use all these medias. That's how people find us. And we have a tier approach, so you can pay as little as $50 and be a guest speaker for one of our workshops, or you could be actually award us over tens of thousands of dollars and sponsor the workshop series. We'll find something that meets your needs, and then you'll have these opportunities to be able to be a guest speaker, be a co-sponsor, and really we do a lot of marketing for our partners, and it's a win-win because they also provide us scholarships and opportunities to get people into our workshops and then get the services that they desperately need. I think the big thing about our programming, people need to understand that there's a lot of people out there that will ask you for money. There are certain scams. We are a nonprofit 501c3 certified agency. We have all these particular certifications because we do good work. And we have our certified HUD housing coaches that we believe strongly in, and we invest in our staff so that you get the best when you come to us.
Yeah.
Karen, you're the best because you answered a question I had, which is, in a way, you have this department, you have all of these services, you need things and resources to be able to do this. It's not a foregone conclusion that it's just wine and roses every day, and you have all that you need. So you talked about volunteers, you talked about partnerships. How about donations?
Definitely.
That too? Okay.
We take donations,
awesome.
Yes. So, just write it to nmcaa.net, and in the corner put FMS.
Perfect.
Financial Management Services.
Good. Wanted to make sure we covered all those bases
well,
too.
I appreciate that because, yes, we do have an annual campaign. We have it on our website. You can drill down to home ownership and budgeting and that. And if you can't find what you're looking for, give me a call because we'll be glad to figure out a way that we can have you help support us. So I appreciate you remembering that.
Of course.
You touched on the laundry project for just a second, a few minutes back. Can you tell us a little bit more about that project since we're here already?
Oh, sure. That's great.
I've been dying to know, too. I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, we call it the Feel Good program because I think it does make us all feel really good to be able to help young, families, children that are in school that really could benefit from this service. Originally, back about 20 years ago, Department of Health and Human Services, Egan Cipher, came back and talked to Mary Maroy and said, hey, I found out about this new program. What do you think? And they launched it. Eventually, it went through different organizations. And when we had an opportunity to be interviewed, and as an organization, I asked our director at the time, would you mind if I took this on? And we were going to help them through this. Well, needless to say, we've helped them through it, but we've grown it, and we're going all summer, and we've been able to increase funding 3 times to 4 times as much to be able to keep that going. We spend approximately $2,000 to $3,000 a month in providing free laundry at certain times at the Grand Traverse Laundry and the Eastfield Laundry. Our partners there do more than they need to. They give us an opportunity to have a break in the fee. They also helped us, especially through COVID. That was one program we could keep going because they administered it. We also look for volunteers for that. Right now we have 2 awesome volunteers that alternate during different years in the Eastfield Laundry, but it's just a great place to meet people where they're at or they need to be. When that project originally started, it is for families kids that were attending school. And the idea was to be able to have the children have clean and healthy laundry and be able to be present with their cohorts in school. And it has expanded some because of the other programs we offer at the agency, including homeless prevention and some of the other programs. So there really has been no wrong turn. We have seniors that come and attend it because that's with their budget. It might be a great way to enhance their budget and be able to stretch their budget. So we've taken donations this past year for scent-free laundry detergent and Tide. We've had the DHHS continues to support it because they believe in the program. Old Mission Women's Club has helped us. Huntington this year has helped us with this program, besides numerous personal donations, because who doesn't want a family to be clean and healthy and be just aligned and just be part of their classroom. And so I think it's just an awesome program.
And there's
it's
so many more
program.
aspects of getting back on your feet than you think about. And I feel like NMCAA tries to look at all of them.
And the laundry project, like I said, we're returning now because of COVID to have our neighboring agencies, our fellow peers, come into that project and present their services and actually meet people where they're at. So I think that's probably key to be able to do that.
It's amazing. I love the laundry project. It meets the basic needs of people.
Yeah,
you know?
that's extraordinary. And not anything I'd heard of as a program nationally or in the community. So I'm glad it's been talked about here.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
This right now.
Yeah.
This question I believe that you might be asking.
All right.
Because of the energy already.
Yeah.
If I think you're going to do what you're going to do.
All right. So he set me up here. Okay.
This is
the big question. So I guess both of you could answer it, either or. If you had one wish for NMCAA's Financial Management Services Department, what would it be and why? Oh, they're speechless.
This is good. I thought
You
maybe
should have
they
had
would
me
both
prepare.
start talking at the same time. The dynamic is
I'm
fascinating.
like, oh, I gotta pick one.
I think the thing is that we wouldn't be the best kept secret in
That's wonderful.
in Northwest Michigan, because I think this is a program for all,
Yeah.
and we don't want any wrong door approach. We want to meet people where they're at. We didn't even touch on all the programs, but being able to help children and their savings accounts like we did with our pilot program, and to be able to help high school students like our coaches go into and meet the high school folks where they're at. But we really want the word to get out to people before they hit a problem. We want to be able to help educate and empower them, because everybody needs to be able to gather assets. And one of the best assets, I think, is knowledge and being able to learn new things, because often people don't learn it at home. I didn't. I needed to learn on my own as a young adult. So I think, like Allison
Yeah, that's
mentioned
the number
earlier,
one thing for the community is like, let us help you before your situation becomes an emergency, because that's when the line may be too long.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a wonderful answer. Beautiful.
I knew that would be great.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
It was. That was an awesome answer.
100%. Well, before we go, I would like to get that contact information one more time, because the amount that is offered on the website alone, resources for anybody, is staggering, but specifically for what we've been talking about today, because I'm particularly going to be looking into more about scams that are out there. I didn't realize the state of individuals you may have to be dealing with, maybe post-scam, maybe in significant financial distress. And meeting individuals where they are and making them feel comfortable have been really, I think, standouts in what you've said. So please, if you can, get that contact information out there. Anybody's interested, where can they find you?
They can call 231-947-3780, which is our main agency number. We're open 7:30 to 4:30, but there's a message machine that will take messages. Or email fmsintake@nmcaa.net. They can also call my personal line at 231-346-2132, and I will be sure to get them to the right place because we all navigate through the services.
Awesome. Perfect.
I believe that. You've mentioned Facebook messaging. You would get back to individuals, families. I absolutely 100% believe it. I am glad that you've shared that. Thank you.
And our portal. Being able to, there's QR codes on some of our flyers. So you remind me of something else, the portal, being able to PM message us on Facebook. We're open to all that.
That's wonderful. Karen, Allison, we want to thank you so much for your time today. And if you're listening before Erica wraps up, please consider hitting the like, follow, subscribe button, or leave us a comment or review. Share this episode with a friend. That really, really helps. And it helps us continue to spread the message about the good NMCAA does in the community by just saying a kind word to your fellow community member or at your place of work. We appreciate it.
Thank you to our guests, Karen and Allison. Thank you, Ryan, again for joining me today on this episode. And as we continue with our podcast, if you have a story you'd like to share about how NMCAA has impacted your life, send us an email at collectiveuspodcast@nmcaa.net. Join us next time as we discuss Children's Awareness Month. And if you'd like to learn more about Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency or the programs we offer, or would like to make a donation, we encourage you to reach out at 231-947-3780 or visit our website, nmcaa.net. And to our listeners today, we encourage you to continue to strive each day to do something to help yourself or your neighbors.